What up, guys? It's your boy Forever One Wheel. We're back at it again in the garage. Basically, this video, I'm going to be comparing both the bagger and the Dyna, and I'm going to say pros and cons, differences, whatever, hopefully the whole 9 yards. So what I have here is a 2001 Roadglide. It is definitely modified, nowhere near stock anymore. I also have a 2007 Dyna over here that is modified as well, but I wouldn't say it's like that modified. It's kind of like the classic Dyna Bro package. So right off the hop, I'm gonna say, if you're a tall dude, go for the bagger. If you're an average size guy to, like a little bit shorter, go for a Dyna. Preferably early model Dyna, which is like, early 2000s. This is a later model Dyna. I think it was 2006 and up was classified as a later model. So I know the older versions are a little bit smaller. And then same thing with the bagger. The earlier models are a little bit more nimble. So baggers are pretty much the same from 2000, if we're talking twin cam, 2000 all the way to 2008, and then 2009 they upgraded the frame and did a bunch of shit. So yeah, so right off the bat, I'm gonna say, if you're a taller guy, you want to ride a bagger because this will fit you so much better in comparison to a Dyna. I didn't realize how uncomfortable I was on that bike till I was riding this. Now, mind you, my bagger was down for a couple days because I had the rear wheel getting replaced, and I was riding this, and it was a totally different bike. Like it just felt so awkward riding this thing. Like my feet were just way too, or my legs were just like way too cramped because of the mid controls. So, but saying that, I will say that like for a stunt bike, obviously the Dyna is gonna be your go-to, because it's obviously the smaller bike, it's more nimble, you got mid controls. A lot of people find it awkward to have forward controls, like your rear brake is in a different position in comparison to obviously the rear brake positioning on a Dyna, right? Which is right there, your feet are right under you. So a lot of people tend to feel more comfortable on mid-control Dynas for stunts and whatnot, in comparison to baggers. But after stunting this for a few years now, and then switching to the bagger, I will say, like, yeah, the rear brake positioning at first was super weird, but once you get used to it, it's honestly, you'll find that it's more comfortable than that. And like I said, that's only because I'm a taller guy, so that's what's gonna be more comfortable for me. So that's one of the differences right off the bat: mid controls, forward controls. Now, the second obvious difference is that the bagger is obviously the bigger bike, the heavier bike in comparison to the Dyna. So, if you ride one of these for a long time and you switch to a Dyna, this is gonna feel like a go-kart essentially. You're gonna go from driving a Ford Raptor pickup or a dually to a Honda Civic. You know what I mean? Like that's what it's gonna feel like. So that being said, like I said, for stunts and whatnot, the Dyna is going to be the all-around go-to. Now, as you progress and get better at stunts, you could obviously move up to the bagger once you're comfortable. And some people may figure it out right away. Other people might not. You know what I mean? Like, for example, I was wheeling the Dyna just fine, and then when I switched to the bagger, it was like a whole nother ball game for me. Mind you, when I did switch to the bagger, a lot of stuff was still stock on it, so wheeling it in that condition probably wasn't the smartest idea. just because it wasn't set up properly for me, I guess. I mean, I'm sure there's people out there that are wheeling completely stock baggers with no problem at all, but I found for me, it was really awkward wheeling the bagger when I had it closer to stock in comparison to the Dyna, obviously. So it took me a little bit to figure out the wheelies on this, but once you figure it out, it basically becomes just like wheeling a Dyna. Like you do the same shit. The same shit you do to get up a Dyna is the same thing you're gonna do to get up a bagger. It's kind of just maybe you gotta put a little bit more effort into it at first, but then you get to the point where like picking that up becomes just as easy as doing a wheelie on a Dyna. Like my problem when I first got the bagger was my rear tire just kept spinning and spinning like crazy. And it felt like I was honestly just trying to learn how to wheelie again, because I encountered the same thing on the Dyna when I first started trying to wheelie. I was either spinning out or just nothing was happening. So that being said, like I said, the Dyna is definitely, that is not supposed to be like that. The Dyna is definitely going to be the all-around stunt bike, straight up. But I will say on the bagger, doing donuts is a lot easier than doing donuts on my Dyna. And I'm going to say that's due to the fork tube angle. So when I sit up on this bike, it feels like the bars are farther away from me, even though I have the exact same handlebar setup on this as I do on this. So it makes it kind of awkward when I go to do donuts on this thing in comparison to that. This thing also really locks in to donuts nicely just because of the steering angle or the rake and the forks, I believe. So in the triple trees, there's quite a bit of rake in comparison to the head tube, and I think that's what makes it just lock into drifts and donuts better than the later model Dyna does, because there's no rake. Like as you can see, the forks are basically, fork tubes are in line with the head tube, versus on the Roadglide, like I said, you can't really see it, but the tubes are raked back a little bit at the top in comparison to the head tube. So yeah, that's one thing I noticed when swapping these two. One upgrade too that baggers have that your Dyna may not have if you have one like mine is the dual disc brakes. You do not know how shitty your front brakes are on a single disc bike till you go to a dual disc. Like I said, I was riding this for a couple days because that bike was down, and I had to squeeze the fuck out of this just to even like get any use out of it. So if I keep this bike, which I think I'm going to, because I was planning on raffling it, I just don't really ride this thing enough anymore, and I was thinking of getting rid of it, but at the same time, like I'm just not sure if I would get what I want for it, you know what I mean? And I really am not in the business of losing money, so probably better off just keeping it, to be honest, and continue building it slowly and have it as a good backup bike. But my plan, if I do decide to keep this, is basically convert it to a dual disc in the front. I have Brembos and stuff in the basement that can be used for that. Probably refresh the motor at some point when it needs it. And then probably just upgrade the rear suspension, chop the rear fender, maybe get a new seat because the Saddleman's kind of seen its days. A lot of knee knockers on this thing and she's ripping, so it's also not like that grippy anymore. Like the pleats used to be bigger and they used to be grippier, and they all kind of like sunk in from sitting on it for so long. It's like a 5-year-old seat, so I mean, I guess it got its use. I only paid like $400 for it. So yeah, so honestly I have these bikes relatively set up the same. So like both of them have a Shinko 777 in the front. Both of them have a Shinko 999 in the rear. Both of them have 49mm fork tubes in the same height. So on the Dyna, I have 25.5 inch long fork tubes. On the bagger, I have 25.5 inch long fork tubes. So yeah, the bagger sits up a lot taller, and same with the Dyna, but that's stock height for the Dyna, and I think that's over like +5 for the bagger, because normally they come with 41 millimeter forks, and I decided to convert the front end to a 49 millimeter. So basically, yeah, if you watch any of my other videos, the reason why I did that is because you have more cartridge options, and it's just way taller. I like the way the tall bike sits. Like, it looks dope. It sits up high, get a lot of ground clearance for stunts, and you know, I just like how it looks mostly, to be honest, but it does help performance wise in some aspect, such as, you know, better suspension than whatever the 41 millimeter have to offer, and it's more rigid, you know what I mean? My next plan is to make a set of billet trees for this. But yeah, they're both set up the same pretty much. Like, I have drag specialties 13 in the back, heavy duties in the rear of those. The Bassani Ripper on this one too. Legends. Same OG Moto headlights, because I like what I like. Honestly, like, I run the same shit. I like bar setup. Pretty much the same 6.5 inch pullback with a moto bar. 6.5 inch pullback with a moto bar, but I am going to be probably selling this set and going with a new riser combo on this, so stay tuned. There'll be an install video on that. Not that I need to change it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this setup. Like, there really is nothing wrong with the setup. It's perfect. The only reason why I wanted to change it is because I just want to try something new. I want to see, you know, what the hype is about with this new riser and bar combo, because I see a lot of the pros running it and they're killing it, you know, still doing a lot of tricks and stuff. So I just want to see what the feel's like, you know what I mean? So the bagger, like I said, is pretty much done, other than just got to replace and fix this side of the bag because it tumbled away. But yeah, the motor's been pretty bulletproof. Pretty grateful for that, because that was my first ever Harley motor build. I'm gonna also have to do some training work eventually, because it's getting up there in kilometers. And these 5 speeds supposedly are really bulletproof, but better be safe than sorry, so I'll work on that in the future. In my opinion, as a taller rider, I will pick the bagger 9 times out of 10. Once you get used to it, you can basically do everything you do on your Dyna on the bagger. Plus, you can cruise long distances on this because it's more comfortable for me. The Dyna is more like your dirt bag bar hopper. Bagger is, in my opinion, is like the best of both worlds. You got something you can perform on, but you got something you could also put your old lady on the back, go for a cruise. I find the Dyna is just too cramped for me now. Who knows? Maybe if I switch things up in the future, I can find, you know, the comfortability for it again. But from riding, like I said, from riding the bagger for a while now, it's night and day difference how much more comfortable this bike is to that bike. And it sucks because this was my very first bike, and I loved riding every minute of it when I first got it, up until I started, you know, riding my bagger this season, because this was my main squeeze and that's what I was riding all the time. And it's a great bike, honestly. I've put it through a lot. It's taken me a lot of places, and she's still going strong, honestly. Like, it's such a bulletproof bike for such a stock 96, you know. And then this one's just a 95 that I freshly built. But yeah, like, another factor to take into consideration is building a Dyna is going to be significantly cheaper than building a Roadglide. And I say that because Dyna parts are more readily available. There seems to be like a little bit of a price hike on bagger parts for some reason, and I'm guessing that's just sales tactics because they know the bagger bike is a more expensive bike to buy. So they're assuming that people are going to have more money than, you know, your traditional Dyna bro. But yeah, building a Dyna won't be as expensive as building one of these, because don't forget too, there's a bunch of extra shit you got to do to this in order to make it stuntable in comparison to a Dyna. You know what I mean? Like, you could literally just do the oil pan mod, get some suspension, and like handlebars and a decent seat, and you can wheelie this thing right off the bat. If you already have like a 2-in-1 pipe, or a pipe that doesn't go out past the rear fender, you know, you can wheelie these things right out of the gate. Hell, there's people wheeling them stock. But with a bagger, you got to do a lot of supporting mods just to be able to wheelie this thing. And I'm the kind of person, like, if you're gonna build something, you might as well do it right, go all the way, and just build it right the first time, you know what I mean? Because the thing I probably would have changed is the wheel set. I would have gone with like the RLMS wheels. But so far I'm really liking these Ultimas. As long as they stay strong and hold up, I don't have anything negative to say about them. That's pretty much, I guess, my comparison between these two bikes. I mean, if you're a good rider, you'll be able to perform on either one of these. I'd say I'm still stuck in the intermediate phase. I still have a lot to learn. I can hold a wheelie and balance point pretty well, but I still have to learn how to drop back and do all the tricks, like one-handed tricks, you know, whatnot. So I still have a ways to go. Also learning like limiter Larrys and stuff like that. I'm not really consistent with them, but honestly, I'm at that point in my life now where I just ride to enjoy it. Like, I still push a little bit anytime I get out there and practice, but as you grow up, you kind of have a little bit less time to do things, you know, other things in your life take more priority. So that kind of slows progress down a little bit, but not completely, because obviously at the end of the day, if you want it bad enough, you'll figure out how to make it work, right? So I'm kind of stuck at a little plateau right now with the Harley stunts, but I'm still enjoying it a lot. You meet a lot of interesting characters. You go to a lot of interesting places when you start riding motorcycles. So if you have, you know, that itch to buy a motorcycle and ride, don't hold back. Like, do it up. These are probably like some of the greatest investments I've done in my life, and some people may think that's sad to hear, but quite honestly, this is what makes me really happy, you know, is wrenching on bikes, riding bikes, and trying to get better at stunts and whatnot. And I think there's worse things you can spend your money on. So, you know, if you want to build a bike, you want to do something that you enjoy, just do it, because like, you only get one shot at life, and you might as well spend it doing what you want to do, because at the end of the day, like, you know, none of this stuff we're going to take with us when we pass away, you know what I mean? So you might as well enjoy it while it's here, and that's pretty much all there is to it. But yeah, so that's pretty much the 01 Glide and the 07 Dyna. Hopefully we'll have some more build videos coming up on the Dyna. It's going to be kind of slow now for a little bit though, just because obviously these things aren't my main priority right now. But, you know, it'd be sick if I had like sponsors or something like that, because I could throw lots of money and make lots of videos, you know, same with whatever. You know, we could be upgrading the hell out of things, but as other priorities take root in life, you have to put other things on the back burner. But I'll still try and upload content as much as I can, you know, with whatever I do, even if it's simple like oil change how-tos, or I was thinking of doing that for the bagger, because I got to do that soon on this thing. But yeah, so also on both these bikes I'm rocking my derby cover. Thing is pretty bulletproof. Made these at the machine shop when I was still working there. But yeah, these things have saved my bike big time. So yeah, if you're interested in picking up one of those, I have an Instagram page that is now live. It's called Forte MFG. So I'll put a link on the description. And yeah, or you could just go to my actual Instagram page at Forever One Wheel, and it is right there in my bio, so you can check that out. But yeah guys, so that's pretty much the breakdown on the differences between the Dyna and Bagger. Hopefully I covered everything. It's kind of hard to, probably should have made some notes, but what are you gonna do? Kind of just wing this one. So yeah guys, thanks for watching. Take it easy.